everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of Talk Shit with Saurabh and Saurav. This is your co host Saurabh.
And this is your second co-host, Saurav.
Today we're joined by Nitish, aka the Brown Kid, who's an aspiring hip hop artist who aspires to make his name in the Indian rap scene.
Hey guys, what's up?
So, Nitish, we brought you into
Yeah.
this episode because we wanted to really know your whole perspective on, the scene of hip hop, especially in the
hmm
Bollywood music industry, and
Yeah.
considering the fact that you're really into this field and you have launched like a couple of proper songs by now with proper music and original
Yeah,
verses and everything.
somewhat. Yeah, somewhat.
So this is something that you're really, really interested in, and I'm guessing that's something that you wish to aspire to, like, go ahead with this in the
Yeah.
future as well.
Yes, definitely.
So, like, is rap something that you like want to get into like completely? Because right now you're in like design with the rest of us, right? And we're all
Yeah.
in the same college, pretty much studying the same degree. But you're pursuing this entire career of music simultaneously as well, which is in a way kind of like conflicting, you could say perhaps.
Conflicting, I wouldn't really say. I'd rather
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
I'm in more of a supportive environment. If I had done the same thing in a more conservative school, in a more conservative college, I wouldn't have received as much support as what I'm receiving right now.
Right.
People wouldn't have been so open-minded. There's always competition. Although there is competition to an extent, but it's friendly in this place. So I feel like it's a better place for me to bud as an artist.
Right. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you something. So, like you said, this is I mean, there is competition, but it's also by the means that you told, it's like manageable competition, right?
It's friendly, rather.
So, tell me something. Why is it that you chose to study design and not like pursue music? Like, like you could go to probably like a music school or like take fine arts specifically for this genre. Because like hip hop is still at the end of the day a part of the whole umbrella of music. And why is it that
Mhm.
you chose to, come into like this artistic field and not go into music as even when it comes to studies and education? Like that's also a way you could chase your dream of becoming like a full-time rapper.
So it all comes down to where I've started, right? Because I used to live abroad before this. I grew up abroad, even as an NRI. I grew up abroad, although I was born in India. But here's how things changed. Initially, I wasn't really passionate about turning this into a career. It was just a hobby for me. But once I was really passionate about design, I decided to step into design school, and then I saw the scene budding in India, especially in Bangalore. I thought maybe not as a career just for money, but it's something that I'm really passionate about. So as a career, I can really take this forward because I realized I had the skills, I had the talent. I've seen how the crowd reacts to my music. I've seen how people vibe with the similar shit that I do. So I feel like I can take it to the next level once I've stepped in. So design was always a mainstream thing that I wanted to do, but then as time passed, opinions change, and that's eventually how I got into hip hop.
Right.
Okay. So I wanted to ask. So I mean, like you said, you genuinely show a passion of hip hop. So
Mhm.
can you just tell us a backstory of how it all started? How did you like, come across this as a, like a hobby, even?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's it goes way back.
we're all ears, man.
So yeah, so thing is, it was back in like early 12th grade or like towards the end of 11th grade. I was doing CBSE, and I was like on a downfall, so it was like a steep downhill where my grades were down. I was heartbroken. Stuff was not stable at home. Like everything was not okay. That's when I previously never used to listen to hip hop. I was more of a pop guy, and
Right.
like hip hop is always a discovery to somebody. Nobody just stumbles upon hip hop one day and says, "Oh, this is great music." You get into hip hop.
Yeah, it's
So
like
Yeah,
you
for the
exactly.
most
I
part,
agree.
hip hop is like I think for the most of us, even for me. So
Hmm.
I'm not into hip hop as much as you are, that's for sure. I mean, you
hmm
listen to all these other artists like XXX Tentacion
Yeah,
and
XXX was a mumble rapper. He's the first one I've ever got introduced.
right,
It's sad music, so technically he used to make hype stuff, but eventually he moved to more melancholic, more sad
yeah,
vibes that he claimed would help people step out of the depression or more a depressed state. So I think that's where I started in a more mumble rap state, and that's where I started getting into actual hip hop. I started observing the scene back. I mean, towards the West. I've never gone come to the Indian scene really quickly. So I was obsessed with artists like J. Cole, Eminem, all these the
Right.
big people.
The
So
popular ones that are like really out there.
the popular mainstream ones before I actually dug into deep hip hop. Uh, so a few days later, I was just working out and I stumbled upon Divine on a playlist, and that's when I was like, dude, this is the scene. This is where I think it's really blowing up in India. And then once I was, so it could be really dramatic, but I was sitting in my bus once. I was broken down about everything. Everything just felt like it was falling apart. And yeah, I mean, I snuck my phone into school because you're not supposed to do that. And I was,
We've
yeah,
all been
Yeah,
there.
so
yeah,
everyone's done that
man.
at some point.
Yeah.
So I've had my headphones on, and I very clearly remember I was listening to Mockingbird by Eminem.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
good song.
that's a good song, and it talked about his downfall, how he went to Dr. Dre and everything. And I felt like, obviously, I don't have a success of his
Right.
range, but it felt like when you write a song, you resonate with it a lot, and that's eventually when I penned down my first song, sitting in a school bus amongst a lot of noise. I was just sitting there, and I got completely involved. I wrote a 1 minute song, and that's what I call 1117. That was the first one I've ever published.
So basically, like Mockingbird was your inspiration for making
Mockingbird
your
was
first.
my inspiration. Yes, it
That's
was my.
really cool because, like I mentioned before, for the most of us, hip hop is like a phase. It's like you
Hmm.
listen to rap for a particular time growing up, and then you eventually like move out of it. For it's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Yeah,
true.
I agree.
I've been there. I've been in those shoes. Like I started out listening to Eminem, 50
exactly,
Cent,
yeah.
and then after all, I went through that stage for the past 2 years. That this
Hmm.
was back in, I think, ninth and tenth, and
Exactly.
after that, I just shifted to other genres of music, and I think I still listen to hip hop, but
Not
I
as
think
much.
that yeah, exactly. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's
Yeah.
always been like a phase for a lot of people, but for the people, I think who have a genuine passion for it, like even in terms of like listening to it, that's when I
Hmm.
think it starts out as a hobby. Because
Also,
I've never seen a guy not write music when they're listening to hip hop.
yeah,
I mean, it's
Yes.
always been like that. I've seen people around me do that. So yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it eventually. I mean, initially I was never hip hop. I was like, I used to listen to a rap song. I mean, in my early ninth and tenth grade, and I was like, I don't understand what he's saying. It's not something that I mess with. And now I'm dug deep in. I mean, I just indulge myself in old artists like Eric B and Rakim, 50 Cent, and people like that. Jay Z. I got into
uh,
deep hip hop. Like I went down into the roots as I
Please,
mm.
went
please, like,
exploring.
don't kill me when I say this, but like the only rappers I recognize from that were like 50 Cent and yeah, like I said, not really into hip hop. I mean, I started off with like the Eminem phase as well. When
Hmm, yeah.
Relapse was coming out, Recovery was on fire. Everyone was
Recovery
obsessed
was
with
on fire.
Love the Way You Lie, and Love the Way You Lie, 3 a.m., Beautiful, Lose Yourself. All these songs were like,
That was a breakthrough. Yes, a
yeah,
lot of
all these
Yeah,
people.
songs you
I
would, yeah, like every
I
kid would be
was
listening to them.
I was
Yeah.
legit like I was only into this one song of Eminem. It was called "My Name Is." That was the first time I heard
Yeah.
of it.
Yes,
And
that was another phase of
yeah,
it. That's a Slim
and
Shady.
what's the best part about the song, that anyone can actually sing it. Like
Yeah,
is
exactly.
it you just look through the paper and you'll be like, "Hi, my name is what?" Like
Yeah,
Also,
it's so
exactly.
like
random.
there is a pattern with Eminem too, if you notice, like even now. So
Hmm.
I feel like Eminem has this very thing. So like how he has this all these alter egos that he made, Stan,
Yeah,
Slim Shady, and
Slim
everything.
Shady, and then
Yeah,
he's
Michael
Eminem, and
Math.
he's
Yeah,
Marshall
and
Mathers,
Michael. I
Marshall
mean
Mathers,
Marshall
Marshall
Mathers. I'm sorry,
Mathers.
I said
Yeah,
Michael. I don't know what's wrong with me.
it's cool.
So like yeah, so like I mean, you can see like when from like if you go through Marshall Mathers LP 1 to like those recent album of his music to be murdered by.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still love Eminem. That's like the only hip hop artist I listen to. So
Hmm.
it's like I don't
So
really listen to anything else. But if an
even
Eminem
his
releases a song,
songs,
exactly,
yeah,
they
his
have a lot
songs
of
have a
meaning.
specific structure. Yeah, they have a structure that people know what. Sometimes you know what's coming. You know that he starts out normal, and
Yeah.
then he picks up his pace, and then he goes downhill, and then he picks up again. So he's
Oh,
got that flow. He's got a structure. That's
yeah,
what makes him
also like
famous.
the thing about his music is Eminem is very smart when it comes to I mean I don't know if I'm like overlooking into this, but I feel like there
Hmm.
are if you like take a song like the recent one Darkness, with the more controversial
Hmm.
song that he made about the Las Vegas shooter, and then you
Yes,
take
yes,
a
I
song like
remember.
Godzilla. So you can see like a direct conflict. Like Darkness is something like about him relaying a message to us. It's more
Yes.
slow paced and like you said, it's more melancholic. And
Hmm.
it's a song that I think even a regular person who's not into hip hop much can easily pick up and rap through. Like, keep up
Yes.
with Eminem's speed. But if you go
Hmm.
to a song like Godzilla, oh my god, you're gonna be lost in the first verse itself.
I
Oh
swear,
yeah.
because
Oh,
that's how the phase shift gives
Yeah,
you an
like
entire broader
it's like
spectrum to work on when it
Eminem
comes to.
knows that there is something that he wants his audience to focus on, and that's when it comes to
Mhm.
like the more private, like the more awareness-induced messages, like the one from Darkness and Godzilla, which is
Mhm.
more like a fun thing, like some fun music. Because like the entire movie, I'm saying music video of Godzilla, it's like about him getting drunk all the time and like losing his shit.
Yes,
So
exactly.
there's this pattern that I've noticed, which Eminem like only Eminem like has in a very peculiar way. Like it's like
Hmm.
he decides whether he wants his audience to keep up with him or not with it when it comes to his
Yeah,
songs.
definitely, definitely.
And
He's in control of the situation when it comes
exactly,
to
and it's
listening.
very weirdly, like put on us. It's not like something he puts on us directly. It's like very like subconsciously for us. It generates like he smartly makes it in such a way. Like if you're at an Eminem concert, you're probably going to be able to sing "Love the Way You Lie" or "Spacebound" with him. But if you
Yeah,
start
but
singing rap
something like
God,
Godzilla, all you can do is
yeah,
raise
it's
your
like you
hand.
can raise your hands and like mumble at the most, trying to keep up with his lyrics. We've all been
yeah.
there. We all struggle to do that. So yeah,
Hmm.
like that's a pattern really I haven't noticed when it comes to like other rappers. Like if you take rappers like Snoop Dogg or 50
Hmm.
Cents or like Royce the Fine Nine. I found this guy out also because of Eminem because Bad Meets Evil,
Yeah.
and I really like the music together.
Hmm.
Like most of the other rappers, what I'm trying to say is they have this linear structure that they only make one particular type of music.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
that's something that's very common in rap culture because like rap culture is
Hmm.
all about this, and I quote unquote gangsta stuff. And
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
go into like Eminem's entire section of it, the word gangsta is missing. It's not like he hasn't generalized rap to like one racial profile or one district profile. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. He brought
He's
in a
always
wider spectrum when he stepped into the game,
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
similar to
and
what Nas has.
he's also made rap like more accessible to the audience, and also has inspired a lot of people, like especially the white
True.
people, to
True.
rap.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think we would have a Machine Gun Kelly, even though he had the balls to like diss Eminem, like if it wasn't for him. Even he agrees, like he was a fan.
yeah, I
Yes.
Like
mean,
He
before
agrees.
Eminem, there was also Vanilla Ice, really old rapper. I
Yeah.
mean, but like,
Vanilla Ice. Yes.
he's fine. He's not great. He's fine. He's
But
yeah,
I mean, talking about revolution, similar to how Eminem brought accessible rap.
right.
Similarly, Nas had done it before because previously rap was very monotonous. There was a very straightforward flow. But once Nas stepped into the game, he changed the way flows work. He changed the way music works, the sampling. Everything has been completely transformed and revolutionized by Nas, which is why he's one of the most appreciated and valued artists in the industry right now.
Can you elaborate a little bit or more on that? Like, I don't know who Nas is, and what do you
Okay,
mean like
so
this revolution?
Nas is a rapper from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So from the 80s and the 90s. So basically, he was one of the old school gang. So now there are three generations. There's one that initially started hip hop, and
Right.
then there comes Nas generation, where people started emphasizing more on the beats and the music because previously rap was something that came from the underground. It was discredited as music. It was not. It was basically poetry with some music in the background.
Okay.
So it was more lyrical. It was where people focused more on the listening part of it instead of enjoying the song in itself.
But is
but
People
it
used to
isn't
go to ciphers.
yeah, but like back in the underground when rap all started, wasn't it about like winning? Like
Yes,
isn't
it
it
was
like
about winning. It was about power. Who had better lyrics
right?
would obviously have a better.
yeah.
Because see, rap battles were a thing back then. They still are, but
But
that's
they're
what
not as
decided whether you're a
popular,
better
I'm
rapper.
guessing.
I'm sorry.
But rap battles they aren't as popular as they were. I think like that whole phase of
Hmm.
people
The whole
dissing
phase
each
of rap
other.
battles has faded out eventually because now rap has not stuck to old school. It
It's
has been.
mainstream now, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily mainstream, but they've started digressing into various types of rap. Because see, there are different types of people. You have some people like 6ix9ine. I don't like to call that rap at all, but unfortunately, Spotify calls it rap, so you're supposed to call it rap. You have people like 6ix9ine who go mumble rapping. You have people like Travis Scott who have an entirely different type of rapping when you look at old school with
Yeah.
heavy music, heavy autotune, but still sounds good, right? You'd like to call it rap. Then
What
there's more
about
chill
Post
rap.
Malone?
Post Malone is more emo. He comes into the emotional category, something that talks more about his feelings.
But does
He
that
doesn't.
also qualify as like rap or hip hop?
Mm, I cannot completely confirm because it does qualify as hip hop slash rap, but when he's a singer too, he uses a lot of autotune and his rhymes go with it. It sounds similar to a trap and soul
Right.
kind of music, so you can categorize it as rap. And because see, now hip hop has changed a lot since it was back then. That's why I say Nas was the revolution, and then Eminem completely started an entirely different phase using vocals. Eminem started off with Marshall Mathers. He had his voice and his voice only. I
Right.
mean, when I say
Huh.
so, there were rappers and rappers. There were no singers and rappers combining together. So okay, so basically, rappers like Jeezy,
Yeah.
Eminem,
Yeah.
they started collaborating with people who are singers and not
Right,
exactly
right. Like
rappers.
Me, Myself, and I, Jeezy and BB Rexa.
Yes, Jeezy and Baby Rexha,
Yeah,
and
I,
then
I
there
love
was
BB Rexa. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
she is good. And Eminem started, collaborating with other people,
Right,
Rihanna for it,
Bruno Mars and everyone.
Bruno Mars, Rihanna, and then there's Jeezy with Charlie Puth. Now,
Kendrick
what's
Lamar and even Weekend.
The Weekend?
I think,
Yes, Pray for Me.
yeah, Pray for Me. Yeah, it
Pray for
was
Me.
one of good songs, man.
That
I
was a
love.
good
I love
song.
it.
Now,
Yeah.
what happens with this kind of a music is
Right,
when you play it on a stereo or when you play it out loud, people might just bop their head to the rap part. Not everybody gets the rap part in the first few times, right?
right, right, right,
Unless you're a hardcore rapper who pays attention and you can catch up easily, which is also pretty hard to do. And but there are people who can obviously relate to Rihanna's section or Charlie Puth's section when Rihanna says "Love the way you lie," and people can relate more to the lyrical part of it. It's easier for you to remember something when it's slow and in a melody. So that's where the approachability started, and everybody started listening to rap.
right,
Maybe not exactly because they can relate with what Eminem is saying, but probably because they like Rihanna's voice.
right. And
So
even
when two
Rihanna's part is something that helps people resonate with the theme of the music, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now what started happening is people of two different types of music join in, so even the reach increases.
Right. Yeah,
So
exactly. So
that's
they're
how
spreading fans across.
exactly. It's
Basically,
not
the
just
best of both worlds.
the best of both worlds, exactly. So that's where it combines, and it creates a wider spectrum for people who love hip hop and for people who love normal songs. I mean, pop too. I cannot say normal songs, that will be discrediting the
Yeah,
rest of the
yeah,
industry, but it's
Hmm.
pop and hip hop being combined. So there's a lot of it's like a larger Venn diagram with a larger intersection circle
yeah.
because
Right.
everyone's there, everyone's in there listening to it.
You were
And now,
talking about Nas in the 80s and 90s, you know?
yeah, so Nas started off. I mean, Nas created an entirely different revolution. If you listen to the music that was before, it was more monotonous. People used to pick up any random drum beat, not random exactly, but almost every drum beat sounded the same. So, like, if you listen to somebody like MF Doom,
Right.
MF Doom was, I mean, if I make you listen to MF Doom as a person who's not into hip hop, you would just be like, dude, stop, just don't play this on the stereo, play Rihanna or something like that, play
Right.
Beyonce. So you would be pretty much bored because people who are not accustomed to hip hop, they do not have a thing for lyrics,
Right.
like rap lyrics, because when people used to rap, like people like MF Doom, all they cared about was spitting the truth on the mic. So the lyricism was of top-notch quality. They were the best lyricists of all time, and I still don't think people nowadays can catch up with them. So, and their speed of writing, everything was insanely good. And eventually, Nas came in and he decided to make songs more enjoyable. So people started working on the beats, sampling changed, the way songs were approached. Now, this is when people started not only enjoying rap's music and I'm sorry, rap's lyrics, but they started getting more into the music also. Now, people would listen to it for some other person's voice on the track
Oh,
Right.
and listen to
that
rap
makes
at the
sense.
same time. So
So
that's where
Nas brought the whole aspect of a singer and a rapper collaborating?
I would not say Nas specifically did it, but because Nas started, I mean, according to my observation at least, or as far as how much I've listened to him, how much attention I've paid to
You
his
could say
music,
popularized it rather.
popularized it, yes, because he brought melody into rap.
Like
Yeah, he
how, yeah, yeah. Like how Rice
yeah,
Gum popularized the whole concept of diss tracks.
Yes, that's exactly.
so
So,
he brought in the music because of
Mhm.
which the the forthcoming generations were able to make much better lyrics as well as incorporate good music along with it, making it a
Point.
good, like, if you see Eminem, he has good music as well as a good lyric
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
you're
it.
right.
So
So
Hmm.
yeah,
like
I mean,
it gave more emphasis to the song part of rapping, if that's
Yes,
music part of
exactly.
rapping, if that's the appropriate way to put it.
Also, earlier, if you've noticed, there used to be more, the flow was probably a lot more slower because they used to focus on lyrics. It was never about the hype.
Yeah.
It was never
mhm.
about people jumping to the music. It was partly because people used to enjoy the lyrics, but it was never about people going, oh, at a rap song, you know what I mean? Because people like Logic, people like Eminem came, they started speeding up the flow, and the speed in the flow is what got people more engaged.
Yeah, I think it like boosts
Mhm.
your adrenaline and dopamine as
Yes,
well.
kind of. It just changes the way you react to the music. It's not just the lyrics. It's the flow, it's the person's voice, it's the way he puts the music forth.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Also,
think one of the good things, like, that actually brought me into Eminem was like him actually singing fast. Like, I didn't
Hmm.
know what
yeah.
Yes.
Eminem was singing. It was all gibberish to me because he was too fast. Like, Rap God, it was gibberish to me, man. I could not even like listen to what he was saying in supersonic speed.
Genuinely, and that's why it blew up because people have never heard something that fast. People
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
never heard something. It's the X factor that brings everybody out. Now, a song can go at its own pace, but when people, rush up on the flow, people start bringing the feel of adrenaline, something that you probably get
Yeah.
under drugs, something that a flow of rush that you have in a music that hypes you up. That probably changes the way you look at the song, the way you approach the way the song takes over you. That's what started changing when flows became faster, and that's why larger audience started reacting to it. It was not just people who love lyrics, it's people who could just go instead of actually focusing with the lyrics.
Yeah, so you mentioned drugs. So I feel
Yes.
like rap as an icon, it's very
Mhm.
well associated with the whole concept of drinking, smoking, doing drugs, and even guns for
Mhm.
that instance. Because
Yeah,
there's a lot of rappers, it's
gangster
like
rap, that's
gangster
where it came
rappers,
in.
as I like to
Yes.
quote and unquote them by, we don't mean any disrespect to them, by the way, we're just putting
Yes,
out there.
definitely, definitely. Because it's also about perspective. Now, a lot of people looked at rap as something that came from the underground, and the underground, the what's they called the hood
Right.
of America, that where it started, and everyone was like, "You're from, hood, so you've got drugs, you are into the bad stuff. So definitely, your music is also bad." So
and
people started symbolizing it for drug usage, for marijuana, for
and
alcohol,
not just
and
that, I also feel like usually, like, how rap started was among the brown, the dark culture, I'll say, like, the black culture. I mean, if I'm not degrading, or am
yeah,
I?
it was called that way. It
Yeah,
was degraded back then.
yeah. So I mean, it was brought in by the black culture, and I think drugs were also associated with that.
Yeah, according
And
to people, according to the
yeah,
masses, people
But
thought that.
like,
yeah,
yeah, if you look into it though, it's not just like according to people it was associated with that. It's also for a very long time. Even if you go through Eminem for that instance, or like old school, what do you say, Kanye West or anything.
Hmm.
Even in their songs, there are mentions of like ketamine, LSD, ecstasy, and
Yes,
all these
yes,
things.
a
It's like,
lot, a lot, a lot.
yeah, it's there is that evident branding, that evident, it's not like something that's just unconsciously or indirectly there. It's like it's very willingly they put it out there, and that's something
Hmm.
that's very well associated with the whole genre of music too. Now
Yeah.
you as a person, as ironic,
Mhm.
and honestly to this day I still can't believe it even after
yeah,
knowing you for so
exactly,
long.
man. Like, it surprises me. It surprises the fuck out of me that, guys, listen. Nitish is the only rapper I know
Who
so
doesn't do
far
drugs, who doesn't
who
drink,
doesn't
who
drink
doesn't
and who doesn't
smoke.
smoke.
I mean, I
Uh,
get it that you don't smoke and everything because smoking is injurious and all. That's a great habit to have, but you don't even drink.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm not a rapper, and I still like do
you,
everything.
yeah, like
okay. Let me put it to you this way. So, what I mean, I'm assuming you guys have watched Gully Boy, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, what is rap? Rap is poetry and music put together in a tempo.
right,
Okay. So, at
Hmm.
the end of the day, rap is an art.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
And when you start pursuing an art, it's not necessary that you take everything else that comes.
That's true. No,
Now
there's
they say a lot of Renaissance painters, a lot of artists who were really, like creative. They were all insane. Do artists now also have to be insane to be artists? Do artists now also have to be depressed to be artists? Now it again goes with perspective. It's not just me. There are a lot of rappers out there who don't smoke, who don't drink. Murad from Gully Boy, have you seen him drinking? Definitely not. He would have smoked,
No.
yes, definitely. But um, it's not substance abuse and stuff like that comes with a specific culture, and it's not supposed to be taken in if you don't want to. It again
that's
depends completely on personal inflictions, personal
Uh, okay.
opinion, perspective.
See, I have a question about this. The
Mhm.
thing is that drugs are mainly consumed for
Mhm.
boosting creativity, as they call it, right?
Yeah,
And
they call
I
it that.
mean, psychedelics like give you that boost in creativity. It makes you imagine better, right? So,
Mhm.
don't you think that not just rappers but the music industry as a whole does drugs to actually boost their creativity in
that's
terms?
very evident and common actually, like you said, Saurav.
I
Yeah,
feel, I mean, even in the, I cannot specifically comment on people who are doing it, who is not doing it. But I feel personally, after what I've been through, I haven't done a single drug, and I can still write pretty well, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I can
feel
write
like
pretty well. I feel
doing
like
drugs to boost your
it's just an
creativity.
excuse.
Yeah,
I
exactly. That's what I
genuinely
was
feel
saying.
it's just an
It's just
excuse.
an excuse. As an artist right now, I'm pursuing art as a degree and a field, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, I mean, yeah, I have the choice here to pop an LSD pill and then sit against a canvas with a paintbrush and a bunch of paints, and maybe I'll
Hmm.
spew out some rad shit right there. But I
Yeah,
feel like I can do the same thing when I'm sober if all I just need to do is put my mind into it more. Because like at the end of the
exactly.
day, these hormones are something that already exist in our body. It's just us
Definitely.
finding
It's
the
about
will
how
to
you bring
unlock
it.
them.
Definitely. Because whenever you look at the way people put up, it's like, see, you don't need marketing for a drug. You don't see posters about
Exactly.
marijuana. You don't see posters about LSD, but they're still going. That's the word of mouth propaganda that people have done, saying that it gets you creative, it gets you thinking, it opens you up. There are a million other ways to open up. There are a million other ways to put yourself through, a creative process. That's by completely involving yourself. That's by completely falling in love with the art that you're doing. You do not
Definitely.
get exposed to a substance to definitely do something.
Okay, that is actually a very good answer to my question.
Hmm.
Another question about this is that, like you said, that even though you don't do drugs, and it's not that you
Hmm.
have to, but like, how do you get the subject? Like, on what? How do you? Okay, like, I just want to know what is your process of writing a song? How do you come up with the lyrics of your rap music?
Okay, interesting question. This again, so if I'm guessing this question is supposed to be purely to my method, to
Yeah,
my technique.
yeah,
So
it's yours. Yeah.
it depends upon what comes to my mind. Then when I listen to a rap, when I listen to a beat. So basically, previously I never used to listen. I mean, I never used to write listening to a beat. So
Mm-hmm.
usually when I listen, I get certain idea in my mind. I probably get a tagline, like I'm just thinking about something and it just comes to me. I used to write it down, and that's when I wasn't really serious about rap as a career. I was just into,
Uh-huh.
writing as a hobby, spitting it on the mic and experimenting with my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, when I passed that stage and I came to India and I was like starting to get serious about it, I started listening to. If I listen to a certain beat, it gives me a certain vibe,
Right.
and I don't necessarily sit and list down all the things that come to me with that vibe. When I listen to that vibe, a certain flow already starts running in my head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I start spitting it out in random syllables to myself, like
Mm-hmm.
something like that. You know what I mean?
And it
So
doesn't even have to make sense. You try to
yeah, it
make
doesn't
sense of
have to
it.
make sense. You try to
Okay.
make sense out of. So it's almost like the music is into you already. You are already absorbed the way the music sounds, the way it works, and then you start building up a flow to it, and whatever syllables make sense to you, it starts coming to you automatically. It's like when you freestyle, even when you freestyle to a beat, stuff automatically comes to you. Some rhymes certainly come to you, and that's how my creative process started. And now I write subjectively when I decide on a subject to write.
Right.
Oh.
So basically, when I'm working. So when you work on a specific set of songs, you decide a theme. You think this is how it has to work. This is how it has to go on. And when you start writing about a specific theme. Let's say I wrote a song called Drags for Dinner and I couldn't release it because I decided to change up my style. I decided to change the way my music sounds. But when I wrote Drags for Dinner, it was about drug abuse. It was about how people get absorbed into drugs. It was almost like I was explaining the situation around me with rhymes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it worked. But for any rapper, I don't think it's just me, but this flow goes smoother
Yeah.
when you start telling a story out of it. If you've heard Mockingbird, it's such a smooth song because he starts with Haley, I know you miss your mom, I know you miss
Miss
your
your
dad,
dad.
and he starts out, yeah, and then he starts pulling the entire story out in the form of a song, right? So when you start telling a story through a song, and if you manage to capture somebody's entire, you manage to make them visualize the entire story in front of you, I feel like you've succeeded as a rapper, and that's what every rapper aims at. So when
Uh-huh.
your writing style has to be smooth enough to match with your story's expectations and the emotion.
All right.
Also,
So
yeah. Sorry, you were saying something?
no, no,
Yeah.
carry on.
Yeah, I was saying something. So okay, that's how you write, huh?
Yeah.
So my question is again, that when you write stuff, okay, don't you face any creative blocks? And
Yes,
if you do,
definitely I do. Definitely I
so when you do face any creative blocks, what are your ways to to de-stress yourself out and start working again?
I
Like
give it a break.
this is where the drug culture starts, right? Because you're like, oh my
Mhm.
god, I'm facing creative blocks, I'm having a creative burnout. Okay, let's
Mhm.
just switch, like let me just smoke some pot, or like let me do some like coke, and we're like, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I've
Yeah, I
seen
know, I
people
know.
do
I've
it,
seen
man.
I
people do
mean,
it.
if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
may, I'd like to just say something.
Yeah.
Creative block for that is something, for not just like restricted to music in general. It's like
Mm-hmm.
something like everyone faces at certain point in life in any field whatsoever. So
Mm.
there's like what Nitish told previously is whether the whole aspect of choice comes in. It's
Yes,
Hmm.
like whether
exactly.
you decide to go through
Give
that
in.
phase by giving into substance, or whether you like scratch your brains and your nerves out till you actually get something.
Hmm.
See, when you say creative block, okay, when you say a creative block, that itself puts itself in a situation where you're free to make a choice because as an artist, you have the freedom to choose when you want to do and what you want to do. You're not working for a corporate company where you sold your soul and you have to submit something at a specific deadline. You
Hmm.
are free to give yourself that space. You're free to give yourself that, okay, I don't feel like writing this now. I don't think something's going to come to my mind. Let me give it some time. Let me go out for a walk, clear out my head a little, come back and try writing. If it still doesn't work, if you feel like, which I was facing a creative block for the past 2 months, so I've
Hmm.
decided to cut everything off. I've decided to stop posting music unless it was for tiny challenges that I was doing on Instagram and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I stopped posting music mainstream on YouTube for a while. If you notice, I haven't posted since a long time. And I've
Uh-huh.
decided to give it a break. I've decided to listen to different forms of music apart from rap. I started listening, weirdly enough, I started listening to pop. I started listening to, mumble rap also because I wanted to understand how people are making it big into the industry. Because now since I started considering it as a career,
Hmm.
so when you get a
Honestly,
creative, mm-hmm.
yeah,
You're
sorry, go
saying
on. I
something.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, okay. So basically, when you have a creative block, you have to try giving yourself some space to think about other things too, because you actually have a creative block when you're so involved into something
Yeah,
that beyond a point your brain's like, bro, stop, just dead stop right there. You're going beyond a point, you're going to exceed
I
your brain
guess yeah, that
capacity,
makes
just
sense
stop it.
because like you will only have a creative block when you've actually like squeezed your brain on a particular topic so much that your
Exactly.
brain give like like you said, like it needs to give you a break. That's how you
Hmm.
know that you're working hard for something. What I wanted to
Hmm.
ask is, so like I personally I do not like mumble rap, because like
Hmm.
mumble rap is something in
Definitely.
which like people are just like going with the beat. It's not really proper lyrics or
Okay.
proper
Hmm.
Wow.
literature for the most part. Okay, like if you take I think like Tekashi 69 or people like that, or
Yeah, yeah,
Little Pump
definitely.
for that instance, or people like these. They don't. I don't really know what they're saying, and it's not even like
Okay.
Eminem style in which like he's just rapping so fast that you can't keep up and understand what he's saying. It's just like what they're
Hmm.
saying, and you can't just make sense of it. There's
Definitely.
there's
So you
a
just go like Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
yeah, exactly, and
Literally, it's called mumble rap. Like,
yeah,
Yes.
why?
I just don't like. I don't get it why this like
Yeah,
entire
mumble
field
is
is
not
See,
a
relevant.
word.
Okay,
Mumble and
so
rap don't go well together, in my
hmm,
opinion. Like
okay,
it's like chocolate and sauce.
let me explain why mumble rap blew up. Okay, so there are two things that come in play when a specific song has to go viral. Okay,
Right.
I'll
Hmm.
give you a song that recently blew up. It's called "The Box" by Roddy Ricch. Okay,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
so the song starts with that thing, right? That
I
thing
haven't
that
heard
goes
it.
like, so it just goes. It's see, there are two things that come into a song when it has to go viral. One is called replay value.
Right.
All right. So
Uh-huh.
replay value is basically when you would want to listen to a song again. Let's say I play Love the Way You Lie. I'm picking on the same example because it's very relevant. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting in a car. Would I rather listen to Eric B and Rakim, or would I rather listen to Eminem's Love the Way You Lie because it features Rihanna, it's got a melody and it's got something that you can bop your head to and sing along,
The
because
vibe to
that's what
basically, yeah.
your vibe to.
Mm.
And how many times are you willing to replay that song and listen to it on repeat? That is a replay value.
Yeah.
How
That
many
tells a
Oh,
times
lot
are you
about a music in general.
that exactly, because now if you listen to a completely pure rap song, like out and out rap that goes with slow tempo, that heavily focuses on morale, it talks a lot about the culture, it talks about society, it preaches a lot. Would you rather listen to that when you're at a house party, or would you listen to something by Logic that just goes like at a really fast pace? Because that's where
Yeah.
yeah, shareability, that's replay value, and that's where people like let's say 6ix9ine, or all these people, that's where they blew up. Lil Pump, that's where they blew up because they had that replay value in their music. And
mm-hmm.
the second factor that comes into place is called shareability. So now let's just say I just give you a song and I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
bro, listen to this. And you'll be like, what's so big about this song, dude? I mean, like, if I just remake, if I just make two similar sounding songs, okay, for instance, if I make, okay, let's just say there are two songs that sound very similar, but you would have definitely heard of the one. I mean, definitely one would have been more popular than the other,
Definitely, yeah.
and that's
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's because of the shareability. Now, for instance, let's say I make a music video. For example, "This Is America." You guys would have
Mm.
heard of that
Yeah,
song.
definitely. Childish
Yeah,
The
Gambino.
yeah.
reason, the reason that
Amazing.
song, the reason that song blew up was its music video.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Now,
Yeah.
Actually, I agree
if
with
I
you
just
completely.
exactly, so if I just send "This Is America" to you on Spotify and say, "Bro, listen to this song, it's epic," you would listen to it on the first try.
No,
That's not
Guys,
never.
something you would play on repeat, I think.
yes, I mean, yeah, exactly. So, but if I show you the music video,
Oh man.
bro, it exactly, it won the best music video. I don't remember which year, but it did win the Grammys, dude. And I was like, holy shit, this makes sense because they launched it along with the music video, and people saw the symbolism, and this guy is dancing,
And
Childish
yeah,
Gambino is
I think the
dancing.
entire aspect of that song was Donald Glover trying to put that message out
Yes,
there.
exactly. He pulls a gun and just shoots somebody in the head, and that's like a shock to you, and you're like, I didn't expect that. I
Yeah, the
didn't see that
vibe
coming.
just suddenly shifts into
The
dark,
vibe, exactly. And now when you listen to some other music, like there are some songs that started off trend. For example, Black Beatles by Ray
Yeah.
Shremmerd, and yeah, so that started off with the Mannequin Challenge. I hope you guys are familiar.
Oh, right, the
Yeah.
Mannequin
Oh
Challenge.
Yeah,
man.
Oh
the
my
Mannequin
god,
Challenge.
that song,
Now, yes,
2017.
exact 2016.
2016, yeah,
So
yeah. Holy
16, yeah.
crap, that was one
So
hell of a
the
year.
reason that song blew up was its shareability, that people started sharing the song around for the Mannequin Challenge.
And actually, no one even knew about the song, to be honest. It was just associated as
Yes,
the
I
Mannequin
never knew.
Challenge song.
I knew it as the
Mannequin
what do you
Challenge
say?
song.
The Mannequin Challenge song.
Exactly, yeah. I think
Exactly.
that's for the most of us.
That's
I
where
think.
shareability comes into
Uh,
place.
oh yeah. I remember a song of Blackalicious. It was called Alphabet Aerobics.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard of this song?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so this song was not really popular, but like Daniel Radcliffe actually sang it on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Wow.
It
Okay.
blew up. Like like some people consider the Daniel Radcliffe version of the song much better than the actual like original.
Oh, you
And
mean the alphabet song, the where the
yeah,
part
yeah,
where
yeah.
she's
Like
singing? Ah, yes, I've
artificial
heard of it.
amateurs are not amazing, analytical.
Yes, yes, yes. I've heard of.
I
Oh
haven't.
man. Oh, dude, like that song, like I didn't even know what that song was. Like I just like
Exactly.
saw Daniel Radcliffe. Like I'm a guy on YouTube that like watches Daniel Radcliffe on a YouTube channel, like on a video, and I'm like I'm okay. I'm gonna click it, and
Yes,
I ended up
exactly.
clicking it,
So
and
that's
then
where that just proves my point that when you have somebody extremely popular to do it, and then there is
yeah,
you, that's where your marketing goes on to top notch. Now, I wouldn't have known the song unless Daniel Radcliffe did it. culture.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's where shareability comes into play.
So
Yeah,
like,
I think because of him, the shareability just increased 10. Or else,
Yes,
like, it was released in the back in the year 2000s, and no one gave a shit.
exactly.
I mean, Black Alicious was not even a very popular artist
I
back
still
in
don't
those
know
days.
about him.
I still don't know about him exactly, but
Yeah.
I vaguely remember him doing.
But yeah, there's
Uh,
a lot of underrated rappers for that instance. Like, you find these artists whose music you resonate with more, whose music
mhm,
you. So I personally am sort of into the emo kind of music because I really like appreciating like instruments individually.
mhm.
And I don't know if you heard of Hobo Johnson.
I don't
Yeah, he's
really
one.
remember.
He's also a hip hop artist. So his rap
Okay.
is, you could say, perhaps similar to that of XX or Post Malone and everything.
Okay.
Sort of along the same lines. His
Hmm.
rap is like, it's like he's talking.
Hmm.
That kind of rapping. So yeah, I really like his that kind of music. But
Mhm,
all this rap talking about hip hop, it reminds me of another thing. Like,
mhm,
I think the first thing when you say hip hop, people instantly just connect it to the whole idea of rap being associated with it. Like, I don't
hmm.
think people are aware about the fact that there is more to hip hop than just rapping. It's still
Yes,
a whole
exactly. It's
big
a culture
genre in itself.
altogether.
Yeah, the
Even the dancers come into place. Even the
exactly.
dancers come into
There's dance involved. There's music involved in it. If you go to like
play.
artists, more like if you take the song "Sunflower" for that instance, there really
Mhm.
isn't much. I don't think that there's barely any rapping in that song, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that still qualifies a hip hop rap song because like there's a
Because
whole
of the
aspect of hip hop in
production.
it.
The
Exactly.
production has been to that level.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
this then like if you now I want to go back a little bit and talk about the fact that you intend to make your name in the Indian rap scene. Uh,
Mhm.
Before Gully Boy, I think the only ever people who made rap really popular were like Yo-Yo Honey Singh and Badshah.
I don't know. Bacha and I mean, as a personal choice, I think
Yeah,
Bacha is not rap.
yeah, but
Okay.
that's
Because
they're
I
associated
don't
with
consider
rap.
they're associated with it because I think that's where they drew their inspiration.
Exactly. And it's
But
like we all were at that phase where Honey Singh was extremely popular in Indian culture.
yes, exactly.
And I'm ashamed of it, you could say, but I'm not gonna lie. Even I used to jam to Honey Singh songs at one
I feel
point
like
too.
Honey Singh, although might not be responsible for the complete blow up of rap in the Indian industry that's happening right now, he might have been a catalyst at some point into bringing foreign music into, I
Yeah,
mean,
I feel
foreign
like
style into Indian music.
yeah, because
Yeah, he
rap
was
was
an
something
influence.
our Bollywood music industry in general, or the listeners for that instance, weren't
Yes,
really
exactly.
aware of. Like, pure
Mhm.
Bollywood listeners.
They were
Like,
tuned into, I mean, when you pick up the word Bollywood, they were tuned to something very hardcore Bollywood. They were like
yeah,
die-hard Bollywood fans.
exactly. They
So,
weren't introduced to the whole culture of rap. So when Honey Singh came with like songs like Blue Eyes and everything,
yeah,
it's
इसे
like,
कहते हैं hip hop and stuff like that.
yeah, people started picking up on hip hop as well. I feel like
Hmm.
in a very weird way, even though like, I wouldn't really
Hmm.
qualify Honey Singh's music as like one of the best or even close to the word best. But Honey Singh
Mhm.
did on some
Yes,
levels popularize the entire rap culture in India, even though
Like
it's
you
not.
said, it's
hmm,
like you said, he was a catalyst in the
Yeah,
industry,
exactly.
whereas Divine and Nazi Shah were like the people that actually brought it to the global map.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Gully
Neziba was
Boy
Yeah,
now has, I think that
yeah,
movie Gully Boy itself is the reason people have started to accept rapping,
yes,
yeah.
because
exactly.
I
And
Now even
really
there's
did
today,
good
know
rap.
on.
Like there's good rap in Hindi. It's not
Yeah,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
blue eyes. Like that's not always a song. "Aaj
hypnotized.
blue hai
Yeah,
pani
yeah,
pani." Yeah, it's not hypnotizer. Aaj blue hai pani pani pani. Like, see, I mean, okay, those songs might have been one of those like that you might have listened to when you were a kid because
Hmm.
you thought it was cool. But
Yes,
then when you actually like grow up, you feel like okay, this is just a guy who's bored with his life.
and that's only because you start when you start. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen when exactly you grow up, but as kids like us, like when we started growing up, we started our exposure to Hollywood music, to the entire Western industry of
and we're
rap,
very
of hip
influenced
hop.
by it.
Yes, and it's been influenced, and that's where people like Divine and Nazi have even. I mean, I don't know if you know this for a fact, but even Divine started with English rap. He never started with Hindi.
I feel like
And
this whole, aspect of what do you say, subjecting Bollywood music to just to the language of Hindi is kind of like, I mean, I get it, the authenticity behind the fact that Bollywood is mostly always refer to Hindi movies, Bollywood movies,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Hindi is the primary language in it. But like if you take artists like Vishal Dadlani or Pratik Kuhad or
Yeah.
Peter Cat Recording Company, all
Yes,
these
Peter
people,
Pan. That's true.
they are amazing artists, and they have brought English lyrics to Bollywood music. Like you get what I'm saying?
I agree. Yes,
And
to a certain
crossing
extent.
this language barrier is something, honestly, if you go back like 10 years, no one would
Hmm.
have accepted it at all. People would have directly opposed it.
They
And
would have, to a certain extent, because change is always hard to accept.
yeah, at some point, evolution does take place. And
Evolution does take place, and that's why it's
s-
evolution and not sudden change.
exactly. And similar to that, with rap coming into the Bollywood scene, you know,
Hmm.
Gully Boy, they introduced the entire concept of underground rapping in Indian society. And I am
Yes.
not even kidding. I remember the first time watching Gully Boy's trailer. This is all I could think about. That this is literally 8 Mile, but in Bollywood.
Yes,
I feel
exactly.
like
I had a
everyone
Yeah,
similar vibe,
collectively
I
agree the
agree.
fact that this is just 8 Mile, but in Bollywood. It's just some,
but
some
in
other
Bollywood.
shitty remake for concept. I
But
I
definitely, it did
walked
make a
into the
lot of difference to
film
this.
and it was nothing like 8 Mile, and I was surprised. I mean,
Hmm.
I still can't believe that underground rapping is a thing in the Indian society. It's extremely hard for me to believe that that's a thing. Because come
Yeah,
on,
but
like really, do you really believe that underground rapping is a thing in Indian society? But now Gully Boy is out there. Even if it wasn't before, it is definitely now.
hmm, I
Yeah,
agree. But
definitely.
there is another side to this that no one has seen, because see, Gully Boy out and out focuses on the Mumbai scene, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I get what
they
you mean.
out and out go on like gully rap people
Yeah, the
who are
whole
secure
idea
of
of
life, are they
slums and
coming up,
everything.
slums. But people don't see that talent is talent. Okay, it might come from a richer household, it might come
Yeah,
from a
I think
lower
that's the
class
entire
household.
essence of the film, right? The meaning behind the movie.
Yeah, but what they decided to do, I mean, what they didn't, I don't know if they decided to, but what it implied to people is that rap exists heavily, and I think everyone just thinks that rap exists only in half the people, because now when you look at actual hip hop artists, struggling people are there in South India. You must, I mean, the scene in Bangalore, you guys know.
I'm not
The
really
scene
aware
in
about the
Bangalore.
rap scene in Bangalore, honestly.
Yeah,
Because the
I
rap,
mean, you
exactly.
have
So
said a few things about the rap scene.
Yeah,
You
the
actually went
only
to
thing
the.
I know is from you.
Yeah. My
because
exposure of rap.
there's an entire collective called One and a Half over here. So many people who are actually trying to do something for hip hop, but it never gets into the limelight because that's what Gully Boy did for the Mumbai scene.
It,
And
Oh,
I don't really see the point of
so you're
film trying
saying
to
like
bring
they
it into light.
associated rap with Mumbai as a city,
That's
basically.
it. That's it. Now, did you know? I mean, personally, as a listener, I would rather, at this point, I would rather listen to something by people like Krishna, Prabdeep. Have you heard of them?
I
oh
don't
yeah.
listen to
Arshia,
Bollywood
one
rap
of my
either.
very
Yes.
closest friends,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
friends
I
with
agree. Yeah.
Prabdeep, and and also I actually met Prabdeep at this
Hmm.
under 25 summit when
Wow.
I was in,
Great.
yeah, and he was not very big back then, but like he was a great rapper, man,
He's a
and
great artist now.
yeah,
So you see, the scene in Delhi, it's often recognized as people who are come from slightly upper class. So they're like, so I mean, recently in one of my songs, I talk. I mean, it's not necessarily a song; it's just a few bars that I've released on Instagram where I talk about, if your bars roll, if you have sweat in it, it gives you friction.
mm,
It's like you're, how do I put this to you? If you have a struggle to talk about, that's when people start resonating with you. So it's a form of you know psychological sympathy that comes into the song. Like, whoa, dude, this guy struggled so much, man. Look at the struggle. Look at the struggle. But I noticed, I realized, and I have observed that once these rappers blow up, they have nothing to
mm,
talk about but struggle, and they cannot relate with that struggle anymore. But there are a few rappers who are definitely talented. Like look at Divine, look at Nazi. They blew up. They're crazy. They're out of the struggle side of the industry, and they're
mhm,
definitely booming. And they're still
yeah.
able to put up a big show, because why? Because they're talented. They're genuinely talented. And I feel like struggle need not be the only thing you can talk about. And Gully Boy has brought the Mumbai scene where half the people, half the gully guys just rap about, lack of money, lack of this
Poverty
thing, which is,
and social
yes,
problems.
poverty, which is definitely an issue. It was definitely something you need to bring into limelight. But I feel like it's overshadowing the whole point of talent. So when there are people like me, if since I'm an NRI, if I go to a rap battle, I've been dissed because I was rich.
Right.
Okay.
What?
So yes, I've been dissed saying that you have too
Wow.
much money in your pocket. That's why you could even afford to come to.
I agree with you because I have actually faced this thing. So believe it or not, at some point in
Mm-hmm.
my life, I used to
Mm-hmm.
rap as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of my Eminem phase. I started writing music, and
Wow, that's great.
yeah, and the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, I already play instruments. So along
Okay.
with that, I started rapping as well. So I used to try making my own tunes or own beats because I knew the
Mm-hmm.
drums, guitar, and keyboard. So I used to try to make my own
Wow.
beats,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and I used to try to write verses to it. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that I went for one of these rap battles once. So it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like you said about the socio-economic, conflict. It was more
Mm-hmm.
like considering the fact that I would use the word privileged kid.
Yes, privilege. That's a
So
heavy keyword that they have. That they just
exactly,
brush it all over your face. They're like,
all in
privilege,
air quotes,
privilege.
guys, privileged kids. So all my diss was against the fact that I haven't really seen, like, and this
Mm,
again, like, it's a very like big topic in general because like trauma and pain is something that's different for everyone. So
definitely.
irrespective of your privilege and social standard, it's like you cannot really
I mean, dude,
call
everyone's
anyone
been through
out.
shit. If you
Yeah,
put it
everyone's
that way,
been through their
everyone's been
own
through
shit.
shit.
You're no one to judge them for it.
Exactly. You no one to judge them. Like
Uh,
I can't go into a scene and definitely tell somebody, oh, just because you're poor, I've had a breakup, man. I'm also going through shit. No, I cannot say that. I cannot judge that.
Yeah, your
Everyone's
shit
had
affects you in your own way.
exactly. So, I mean, I think talking about struggle to some extent is fine, but you cannot use that as a power to overshadow other people who have talent. See, people usually grow through people. See, hip hop is a culture. You cannot just, in hip hop, you grow through people.
Right.
Okay. And that doesn't happen as far as what I've seen in every music industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm.
Fair
When you
enough.
look at pop, when you look at alternative, when you look at R&B, for example, let's say The Weeknd, Billie Eilish. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's unique about the Weeknd's music? His music is drastically different from everyone else. When you listen to a Weeknd song, you know it's the Weeknd. When you listen to Billie Eilish, you know it's Billie Eilish. Even before the voice starts pouring into the song, when you listen to the beat,
Yeah.
when you listen to the vibe, you know it's Billie Eilish. So
Um.
you grow in alternative genres when your music is unique. But in hip hop, you grow through people. So when people see you getting dissed at a certain level where people just put you down like you're rich, you're this and that, and definitely when you are hit on your weaknesses such as being rich or wearing expensive clothes, you definitely are put down, and then people look down upon you. Huh, this guy definitely doesn't belong in the scene. So it has
Yeah, I
become a
completely agree.
stereotype. It's become a stereotype in the industry where everyone's been like, "You're rich, you don't belong here."
Yeah, I get what you
You
mean.
can't rap for real if you have some currency in your pocket. That's how things have been stereotyped. Like rap is somebody for somebody who struggles, and I,
I
I
feel like
totally
that's
disagree with
making rap as an entire culture very mainstream as well.
it.
Because, like,
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's like the uniqueness of rap. I mean, not anymore, because like these days people rap about literally anything. So even though you
Definitely,
could say
yes.
like it's varied in the taste, the
Hmm.
idea behind it is still the idea behind it is getting mainstream now. But back in the day, rap was just all about, like you said, socio-economic problems. And
Hmm.
at
You're
some
right.
point, it made rap extremely mainstream because, like, every song you would hear, he or she would be just talking about their problems or this or that or anything
Hmm.
like that. But now, if you
Hmm.
come to song like Sunflower, it's not like talking about breakups or like poverty or anything. It's literally just a
Yeah.
song about a guy just enjoying.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
it's
You're
the,
right.
the song is so like mood lightening, man. Like I would like listen, like each and every time I listen to that song, it's like I picture Miles Morales like going through the multiverse
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like
Jumping off the
yeah, man.
building and stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun. And but one thing that I want to, but like back in the day, like rap was associated with pain. It was
Yes,
associated
Yeah,
definitely.
with
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of it was
definitely.
associated with a lot of problems. Do you
Hmm.
think that when a person starts rapping in the industry
Hmm.
or whatsoever,
Hmm.
has some sort of like kind of like a backlog, yeah, at the like something at the back of their head that they started because of pain? I
Yes, I
mean,
feel like everybody see an artist usually starts. I mean, an artist when he turns into an art, and I mean, according to me, anybody who makes any form of art, whether they display it to the world, I mean, even sort of because he says he writes, I still, I mean, I credit him as an artist because he's someone who writes. He might not show it to the world, but he's someone. Okay.
hmm,
Now, even if a painter, just paints something and hangs it on his wall instead of selling it or publishing his work, he's still an artist. Okay.
Huh, yeah.
So an artist is somebody who creates something, and to create something inspiration, right? And
Uh-huh.
sometimes the inspiration might come from pain, which is majorly the case in every form of art. But either it comes from pain or it comes from an uplifting experience, or but pain is not always necessary, although it has been majorly there as an
Mm.
Right.
element. Everyone's been through some sort of pain to write about something.
Haha.
So I mean, I've been through a lot of pain, not definitely economical, financial
Yeah, it's more
struggle,
like a
but I've been
personal
through
thing.
pain. I've been through personal pain that made me write, that put me into the emotion of I should pen this down. It's like,
Yeah.
people come home and write a diary.
I think
They
that's
pen
the thing
something
about
down in a
art in
journal.
general. It's like pain boosts art.
Yes, definitely, I agree.
It's like,
Why do you say that? Why do you
I
think pain
mean,
actually boosts art? Because see, thing is,
uh,
it's very subjective for very different people. Like for me, I don't think pain actually like whenever I'm sad, I can't do art. That's. I mean, I don't do art in general. I'm that lazy.
See,
But
n-
again,
still,
that's
no,
personal.
sort of. It's not like when you're sad, you do art. It's like when you're sad, right? When like there's something that's emotionally or mentally disturbing you, it's like you're in the process of thinking in general. And when you're
Okay.
exploring
uh,
those realms, it's like even after you recover from that stage, that thing that you've thought in that stage is the reason that's gonna boost your creative process.
I
So.
think
Mhm,
like what do you say, arts in general, like whether it's music, whether it's drawing, whether it's design,
mhm,
or
mhm,
whatever it is that you're doing. I think
mhm.
what pain does is that pain when it puts like it upsets you, right? You don't want to be in pain, right? And I think as an outlet, you just want to let it
Definitely,
all out,
Definitely,
and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's
definitely,
when
yes, yes.
actually music or art actually helps. You just channel all your sadness, all your pain through all of the things that you're
Yeah,
doing.
it's see, emotion is also like a drug.
It
Yeah.
is the
uh,
biggest drug in my
when
opinion.
exactly, now when someone, I mean, when we talked about how drugs release some hormones in you to get you creative, I mean,
Mm,
emotions can also do that,
mm,
right? So excitement releases dopamine,
mm.
like adrenaline, the fight, flight,
Serotonin.
flight, yeah,
Yeah.
serotonin, adrenaline, all of these. At the end of the day, they're hormones. They trigger your actions. Now, for
Yeah.
example, if I say, I'm mad about something, I had a terrible day, I picked a fight with somebody. In
Mm,
that anger, in that emotion, I come and I'm like, for example, let's say somebody discredits me for something, for my, puts down my ego or something like that,
yeah.
right? I feel like, come on, man, how could you say something like that about me? I come back home, I pick up a pen, and I start writing in that emotion, like, an anger emotion. I might try to distract on the person.
Yeah. I
So
mean, makes sense. Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's the emotion that drives you. It's a trigger at the end of the day. So I feel like I mean, it's not just pain. Any form of emotion can give you that push, saying that go write or go paint or go sing, stuff like that.
So basically, in the form of rap, I think pain is an instigator, and it's just I think it's a foundation. I mean, I don't want to
Definitely,
say it, but like I feel like it's a foundation because, like you said, when you were through pain, you actually started writing music. I think
definitely.
it instigates you, it inspires you to actually do something out of your way,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
which
that's
you
Yeah,
that's
never thought
definitely
of.
true.
Huh.
that's true.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think that collectively, I mean, we can come to like a substantial sort of a conclusion. The fact that like, rap
Hmm.
is still something that's growing in India as a whole,
Definitely,
and I
definitely.
think it's gonna take another 10 years or something for it to blow up like it did in the western side of the
No,
world.
no, no. I mean, see, there are always catalysts, and I
Right,
think
unless someone
slightly
else
less.
comes along and brands
Probably
the
makes
fuck out of it. So
exactly,
yeah,
or somebody makes another movie that blows up, or
yeah.
changes the entire way the thing works, like the industry works, and probably that's going to entirely make it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a form of evolution at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, like that's the thing. So I mean, yeah, man, I guess so. I feel like I think you know what you're doing, right?
yeah,
You
definitely.
definitely
Yeah,
know
man.
what you're doing, and when I say 10 years, I mean like within that time frame,
Within the
rap is
time
gonna
frame,
it's
definitely
gonna
it'll
blow up at some point. I'm pretty sure about
definitely
that.
going to. Yeah,
So
that's it.
yeah, as I mean personally, even I don't listen to rap much, but
Hmm.
I'm not saying this for like advertising or the fact that you're on the podcast or something. I genuinely
Okay.
did enjoy your music
Oh, thank
from
you,
your
thank
YouTube
Yeah,
you,
man,
channel.
same here.
And
thank
And
I
I
you.
think,
remember when you first came up with your very first song, you heard
Hmm.
you faced a lot of diss for it. I remember very well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I do. I
and
remember when I released 11, 17, a lot of people I
yeah, and
very annoying.
massive respect because like you've come a long way since then. Even though it's just been
Thanks, man.
like
Thank you so
I think
much.
4 or 5 months, you've really
Yeah,
showed people like it's not like you were just starting up and this is how you
you
are.
come.
And man, you've
It's
come a
so
long way.
it's all people do it. Hip hop is a people art, people
Definitely.
culture. It just grows through people.
Yeah, man. So that's it, guys. That was hip
Yep.
hop
Thank
industry,
you.
and everybody just
uh,
like yeah, that's Nitish, aka the brown kid on
Thank
Saurav
you.
and
Thank you
Saurav
so
Talk
much.
Shit.
Glad to be
yeah,
here.
man. Yeah.
Yep.
Really glad you
So,
could make it. So before we
yeah.
end the podcast, I was
Mhm.
wondering. So you said you had a
Okay.
song that you worked on recently.
Yes,
So
yes.
Saurav here beatboxes, and he's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
good. And
Okay, okay.
what I was wondering
Hopefully.
is maybe you could drop a few bars for us, and Saurav will try and
Few
pick up the
verses, a
beat.
few verses, just like a few.
Yeah, anything,
Definitely. Okay.
anything,
Yeah.
just for like a nice conclusion. I think people would want to
Right.
listen to your music like this as well.
Yeah, I mean, and also please follow Nitish Pajir. His Instagram profile will be down below in the description.
Even his
Thank
YouTube
you,
channel, guys.
guys.
All the
Yeah,
links, all the
yes.
necessary links are in the description
Will be
below.
down in the description below. And please follow us, guys. This is our first episode, and we are hoping for you guys to, follow us and support us so that we bring content like this consistently throughout the month and hopefully more.
Yeah, and if you guys don't believe us, we have an entire thing planned. So we're gonna
Yes.
weekly drop one episode each on
Yeah.
several varied topics. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. So if you're listening to this
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
SoundCloud, you're watching it on YouTube, whatever, we're striving to get this media on as many platforms as possible, and all the
Yes.
necessary links are in the description below.
Yes.
So guys, now we're gonna get like a nice performance from Nitish. Also, like, don't feel stressed at all. You're not like it's not something like
Yep.
please don't feel like under pressure, pun
It's cool. It's
intended.
all right. It's natural.
So
It's
yeah,
natural.
you can start rapping, and I think Saurabh can easily pick up on the beat.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So this track is about how because we're rich, we're discredited. I've talked about it a lot because I faced the issue personally, and I feel like uh, people put it on because you're from a richer family or from a higher middle class or something.
right, right.
So here it goes. It's for the gully guys saying that we belong with you too because talent is talent and art is art.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Saurabh, you
Come
ready?
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
All right,
Okay.
Okay.
let's go. Three, two,
Come on.
one, start.
Hit me in the face with the street shit. I'm aware of my privilege shit. I know that you gully kids had it lit. You got a backstory for a rap hit. You smoke rose cigarettes with some pot in it. Your bars flow cause you got sweat in it. Don't struggle some pain and you lost a hit. And you kind of rich kids if they're talented. Fuck it. Everybody want the clean shit. Likes on the gram, it's pseudo profit. All they want is crowd in the mosh pit. Real kicks, more hicks, and a cold bit. OGs turn whack when they swerve it. Making dance steps, people love it. They buy the new cadence, audits and maidens. Meat and the label keeps numbers in surveillance. If the numbers drop, make some gospel shit. If they don't work, make a brand custom fit. For the fame suck dick, for some clit. The ball's in your coat, but you're here to fat shit. The ball's in your coat, but you're here to fat shit. The ball's in your coat, but you're here to fat shit. The ball's in your coat, but you're here to fat shit. Yeah, that's where it ends. That's all.
Hats off, man. That shit
Yeah,
was
thank
fire,
I
you.
dude.
hope I wasn't so horrible at beatbox.
No, that collab they
No,
did
it was fun.
extremely
It was
well.
fun.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, man.
All
Thanks.
right,
And
It was
guys.
great. It
all
was
right,
great.
Thank
guys.
you,
Thank
Nitish.
you so much for tuning in to this episode. We next episode the next Friday. and hope to see you again. Please subscribe to our channel, and
Follow
please
our
keep watching our.
SoundCloud link, follow our
Yeah,
Instagram, guys. We'll keep on posting
yeah.
updates and everything. You guys
Yes,
know where to follow the three of us. We all have our own
yes.
Instagrams, and
Our pages. Yeah,
yeah,
and hope to see you again. And good luck to all of you. And yeah, bye.
just have a great day,
Bye. Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Yeah.